Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday catch up. We're feeling really zen, I think. We've just done some meditation with oils, and I do feel the energy is nice and calm. So, on our Wednesdays, it's all about sharing, because sharing's caring, right? Sharing with each other to inspire each other, but also not just with us. We thought we'd be kind and share with you our experiences and the wisdom of the oils. So who would like to go first and share with us what oil you've used recently, maybe in the last week, what you've used it for, and like an oily win, basically, something that's you want to celebrate about these oils because they are incredible. And Vicky, great. Do you want to go first, my darling?
Yeah, I would love to go first. I just had the most amazing experience. And it's beautiful because it follows on. So after last week, Fontana shared about Whisper. And so I set the intention to invite Whisper into my life this week. And so yesterday I did a beautiful meditation with Whisper. And for me, it was all connecting to the Divine Mother. And those of you who know my story, I had lots of IVF treatment, and I in this lifetime, we weren't able to have biological children, and we had fertility treatment and miscarriages, and that's been a big part of my healing journey, is finding forgiveness in myself and loving myself unconditionally. So yeah, it was really beautiful. So the gift that she gave me, she connected me back to the Divine Mother, and she reminded me that I chose, I've been a mother in many lifetimes, and I've been an amazing mother. But this time, in this incarnation, I chose to experience being a mother in a different capacity. And it was a really beautiful reminder that it was a decision that I made before I even incarnated. Mommy. Yeah, and that she reminded me it was nothing to do with that I wasn't good enough, or it wasn't the fact that I wasn't worthy of carrying a child. She just reminded me of that. So that was yesterday. But as Charlotte just said, that we just did a meditation and feeling into the oil. First of all, I got Whisper again today, and then Clary Sage came to me. And as soon as I picked this up, I was taken into my womb as soon as I picked it up. And it was such a beautiful experience in that I was taken on a journey through my body. It was like I was a cell journeying through my body, and then I got into my womb, and I was I met the soul. I met the soul of one of my babies, like the fetus, if you like. And she wasn't formed. She didn't look like a baby. She looked like a fetus. You know how babies before, because when we had fertility treatment, we lost the babies very soon after. But it's like Clary Sage gave me the gift of going back into my womb in that moment and reconnecting to the soul that wasn't to come through. It was kind of like the experience, but in that moment I got to see the soul grow until it was full term, and it was so beautiful. It was emotional, but just so beautiful. It was so, yeah, super powerful. I'm just really in a state of just peace right now. Yeah, beautiful. And Whisper was the stepping stone for me, the Divine Mother taking me back to that, and then having that experience this morning with Clary Sage, wow, what a gift. Like, I actually went into my body. It was like, I was like, I could see all the cells. It was like, oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was so beautiful. I'm so grateful, as always, for these oils and the gifts and the awarenesses that they, you know, bring into my life. Because without these oils, I wouldn't have these experiences, and these experiences are so important in our healing journey. You know, not only are these oils amazing on a physical level, on an emotional level, but also on a spiritual level. You know, we throughout life we have so many traumas, right, that happen in our childhood, and even, you know, in like generations back, you know, and sometimes they just kind of come through, and we carry those traumas with us. But these oils are just so beautiful. And I was saying to Fontana yesterday, like, I can actually see, I don't know if this is the right word, but like our this is how I see it, this is how I'm shown, is like within the muscles of our body, there's layers, like there's layers, like, I don't know if they call them fascias, but they layer on top like that to form the muscle. But what I'm shown is these oils help, you know, release the layers, so we can get access, so we can get deeper into the access of the trauma. That I was shown that yesterday when I was speaking to Fontana. So that was beautiful. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm just so grateful.
So see, I love how you're using these really to develop yourself spiritually and psychically.
Absolutely. And it's been a journey, right? So I started using these oils for, you know, for on a physical level, you know, and slowly I've been starting to use them on an emotional level, and now spiritually, wow, like the visions, the clarity. I just feel like I'm an open channel now. Like, I feel like the information has a clearer path, and I can see a different perspective. Like, the oils are just kind of opening me up and seeing the bigger picture.
That's the great thing, that there's different oils for different things. For the emotional work that needs to come really first, otherwise you're sort of spiritually bypassing. I think that's what happened with psychosis. I had all this information in the channel, but all the light brightly shone like a torch on my shadow, on my wounds, and exposed them, and it was like, whoa. And so what you've done, Vicky, is, which is brilliant to share, is that you've been working for the last 18 months, 2 years, on your emotional wounds, on patterns and why things keep happening in your life. No wonder all this like you say, I'm an open vessel, I'm an open channel now. No wonder you're feeling like that, because of the work that you've done. So I do definitely feel like that, you know, to work on the self first and the ego, and then naturally the gifts will come in.
And it's a journey, right? You know, 18 months ago I started, and this has been a natural progression. So yeah, it's been a beautiful. I'm not going to lie. So, you know, when you're faced with your darkness, right? It's and your wounds and the shadow, it can be quite overwhelming. But oh gosh, when you get to the other side and you get the gifts and the awareness, it's just amazing.
And the oils are your support, as we are, but the oils are always there, morning, noon, night, and they can assist you to get through the dark night of the soul, or whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely. And the oils, they do have consciousness, you know, they do speak to you. They have a voice. There are messages within them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vicky. That's and a bit of Clary Sage. Clary Sage is about intuition and clarity, so you're gonna see more, probably. Experience more. So who would like to share next? I think Yarlini, then Amanda. Just quickly got in there. She was very keen. Go on then. If you want to unmute yourself, darling, and just share.
The reason I wanted to go after Vicky is because I just wanted to literally just continue with Clary Sage, actually. because I was feeling really poorly last night with a lot of bowel pain, which I have. And a bit like Vicky, I really started doTERRA really to use the oils for my physical well-being. And I began then going through the oils by using them emotionally. And I think probably in the last month, I've been using them more on a spiritual basis. But last night, I looked like I was 9 months pregnant. I was so distended. I was in so much pain and so much agony. And yeah, and that's one of the reasons I couldn't come on the call. But as I was thinking, okay, which oil could I use? And I'd been using clary sage during the day, and I've been using Zengest, which, you know, Zengest is just amazing with just being able to, I literally just, you know, everything I'd eaten, I just, you know, cleansed my body. And so it was great for that. But it was still making me quite distended during the evening. So I knew there was actually, I couldn't feel anything in my body, literally everything had come out. So I knew it was something deeper. And so last night I actually did a very intense meditation, which with the meditation, it had a bit of light language. And as I was listening to part of this light language, it's the only way I can describe it is literally I'd smothered the whole of my belly with clary sage. Is I could see myself with this tribal group, and all I could see was this prism and this blue-white light coming straight through me, and it was going within my stomach all the way through my womb. And a bit like Vicky says, I could see all different layers, and it was like the clary sage was a vessel to be able to go further and further, like to go deeper. And I could see there was lots of different trauma there, and I could feel the light going through me, and clary sage was almost that vessel. So it was another you know, for me the oils are another tool for me to be able to go deep, and especially I think now on a spiritual basis, it's really helped me as part of my self-development to go further. Having done a lot of self-awareness work and a lot of spiritual work, it's really helped me, I think, to get more clarity, that intuition. And clary sage has been just amazing last night with the meditation, with what I could feel and what I could see. It's like I could see every cell going through my body. And as I was going through it, what was really interesting was only with the light language, with that part of the light language, when that bit came on, my body was literally moving in my stomach. I cannot even describe it. It was like it was going up and down. And then after the light language, it stopped. And it was like it was responding to the light language, to the frequency of that. But I felt that clary sage actually helped me to actually provided me with that vessel to go deeper. So for me, I think my oily win has to be clary sage for that. I think it was just, so thank you, Vicky, for introducing me to clary sage, because honestly, it was an amazing experience, and I'm going to do it again today. But I think it's just made me realize that there's obviously a lot more deeper layers within the womb area and within my stomach, which I just need to go further. And I can feel that it's generational, but I just need to go deeper with that. And I think clary sage, and I have used Melissa in the past as well, so I feel that between a combination of two, that it's going to help me to go deeper.
I had a that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Clary Sage came up in conversation yesterday with someone who's a aromatherapist, and she said that when she trained as a aromatherapist, she said her teacher said Clary Sage, I don't know how many drops of it, is the equivalent of half a bottle of vodka. And I was like, really? And then I remembered that in my birth, that's all I had. I didn't have gas and air or anything, or pain relief. It was just Clary Sage oil. And it was literally like I was in a trance. And there was almost, it was like a pain relief as well. So I don't know if there's a link with the pain relief aspect for you, because you were in a lot of pain, weren't you? So maybe, yeah. So you know, the pain in the tummy, you'd go Zengest, right? You go automatic to that. but it's so lovely because the way that you guys are, you're just open to, well, trusting that if you're guided for something, just to honour and surrender to that guidance, and know that you'll get the reason why later. And that's being in your real divine feminine, I think. So you're doing it, and the pain was going. How do you feel now? But this morning, your tummy?
Yeah, so this morning it felt I felt okay this morning, but I think it slowly sort of crept back up. But I think, as I say, I think it's because it's such deep emotional trauma, it's not like it's quite lifted. But I think it just gave me, it was almost like I was actually going within my body all down to the actual cell, like to the mitochondria. It was like I was going down at that level. But I could feel it was generational. I could see like tribal people around me. But it was really interesting that with that light language, it was only at that particular moment. It was a bit like, you know, when you're pregnant and you see like the baby kicking about. It's a bit like that. That's the only way I can describe it, when you see feet coming out. So literally my whole body, in my stomach, my stomach area was just moving about. And I was like, I was semi-conscious because I was obviously lying down doing this meditation, but I was like, I can feel all this stuff going on. And then I straight after the light language part had finished and it was just music, it finished. There was no movement in my body. So it was really interesting.
So you're leaning, there's a match between light language and these oils.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and I know some of you do light language, so inspiring. Thank you so much. I love that. I can't wait to hear more about your journey. Well, people that are watching this can tune in next time and the time after and see, you know, how things have developed for you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So who would like to go next? Amanda, you go next, my love.
Morning, everyone. I don't know. I just got Clara Sage because obviously I've got on guard, but I was going to talk to my son. But obviously Clara Sage has just come in. So, and obviously we did that oil for my friend, didn't we? The Clara Sage for pregnancy, which was very, which my friend's, she's nearly overdue and she wants to use that. But Clara Sage, I use Clara Sage for when I actually miscarried. So I feel I need to share this. So this is obviously important. So I was diagnosed at 13 weeks that I lost my child at the scan. And at the time, obviously they offer you like medical procedures if you want to have a D&C or like drugs and stuff. And they give you all this information literally just after you have the scan. And obviously I'm in a bit of a shock because 1 minute you think you have a child and then the next minute you don't. So I was like, no, I just want to go home, and my husband was like, no, you sure? And I was like, no, I just want to get away. And I was in a room with full of pregnant people, so I just wanted to get away from there. And I just started bleeding and wasn't a lot bleeding. And then I just got Clary Sage to come through. So I started using Clary Sage. I bathed with Clary Sage. I think within a couple of days, then I went into, which they don't tell you, like full like labour pains and stuff like that. And I did actually fully miscarriage properly at home with the Clary Sage, which is quite hard. It's hard work, emotionally and physical. But I didn't have any problems afterwards. So obviously I had a few bleeding after, like, you know, a couple hours, and then afterwards that was fine, and I was recovered quickly. I didn't need any extra help after that. When I know a lot of people who've been to like had D&Cs or the medical approach have had trouble, like, you know, getting rid of all the, you know, the fetus and the, you know, stuff like that. So I just use Clary Sage for that. So I don't know if that's going to help anyone out there. I just been called to tell that. It's a really powerful oil, like we've just heard and stuff. So yeah, that's what I just feel to share. I don't know why, but that's what I was told to share. But my oily win this week was with my son, which I have done a live on the HVOT Tribe. And I think it's because it's very appropriate at the moment with the schools going back and energy. I think in lockdown, I've really become aware of the energy outside and people's energy, when before I think we get so used to it, don't you, rushing around in and out of people's energy, that you don't really understand how it affects us. And being in lockdown when you've only been in your bubble or very selected bubble, and then suddenly coming this week to, 30, a class of 30 mums to school, and the energy, it's probably the largest group I've been in. I think there was like 250 people waiting outside the school one day, and that energy is quite intense when you've been in your house for 6 months or just having a couple of people around. So my son was very emotional the first couple of days. Obviously, he's surrounded by 30 children every day. They all have their own energies, their emotions. He's very sensitive. So I got On Guard came through, and I use it in a spray bottle for my healing. So I just put it in a couple of drops in a spray bottle of On Guard and water, and just spray it around them just before he goes to school. And stuff like that. And that's the last 2 days I've used that, and he's, touched wood, he's felt a lot better. So if anyone's got, like I say, children, or even for yourself, because I work at the school as well, and I find that the energy is very intense. It's really good for protection, and also if you're doing a lot of spiritual work, healing. I'm a healer, so I use it before I do my healing, even doing online healing, even if you're doing face-to-face counselling. It's a really good protective thing. I know we can all do the visual, golden light and stuff like that, but some people like to have a physical thing. It's really good to have it both, I think, anyway. So that is my top tip for this week. So I just thought it might be useful to some people out there.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that deep story as well. I'm sure that was meant for somebody watching, and also for your wisdom around your awareness around how we've got used to being in our own bubble, and then suddenly we're mixing again, the children going back to school, and they're bringing in a law, aren't they, about you're not allowed to meet up with 6 people or more, and you've got children 50 at the school gates. How does that make sense? But yeah, On Guard's really great. And just to echo what you just said there, because I just wanted to share the Terra Shield. Where is it? I just used it. I was here. Terra Shield, it's another one similar to On Guard. On Guard would be spicy with wild orange, cinnamon and clove in it. And Terra Shield's got, we found out catnip. It's got ylang ylang and cedarwood and eucalyptus and litsea and vanilla and arbor vitae, beautiful. And that's for shielding as well. So 2 slightly different ones. One's for protection, one's for shielding. So energetically, really highly recommend that. That was my little share for today. Who would like to go next then? Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Me.
Oh, Hannah.
Hello. Hey. Do you know what's really weird is that I've been using On Guard a lot as well, Amanda. And I've been making up little bottles. I've got to send a few samples to people because I've told them about it and they're like, oh, that sounds good. But I've been using it myself because I've been going deeper with my spirituality side. And when we just did our meditation then, I've never really used On Guard in this way before. And it took me back to my first awakening in Thailand. And it was really weird because I got the message that the first time I ever heard the chanting in Thailand, it connected with me and made me feel all like at peace. And now that I'm using those chanting, I'm doing that in my meditation now, I'm feeling at peace a bit more, and I'm feeling like I can get through what's going on in my family at the moment. And with the chanting I'm doing, it's opening up so much more. Like, my light language is ridiculous. I can't, well, you saw it yesterday, Charlotte. I can't control it anymore. It just comes out so much. And I've been using rosemary again because that's the transitioning.
You're up leveling.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just protecting. And I mean, my favourite's Frank. I use that every single day. So there's quite a lot. I've been using quite a lot. I've gone away from Melissa. I think Melissa helped me last week, but now I haven't been called to use Melissa. But this week it's been On Guard, Rosemary, and then Frank. But Frank I use every day, and I just put it on my third eye when I do my readings. But the one I've been using is Rosemary, and I've been diffusing it. And when I've been doing my meditation, it's just, my chanting is so much more like flowing. And I'm seeing and feeling, and I'm getting visions of stuff, and it's just so much more deeper than I've ever had before. So yeah, it's a bit I don't know what's going on, but it's all changing again. But the On Guard, yeah, I've been putting it in little bottles, and it just, I feel I need it at the moment. I'm like, get your energy away from me. But yeah, I haven't had as much, is it grief? I don't know. No, it's not grief. Like I normally do, like it's time of the month, okay? So it's the lady time of the month. Normally I'm crying, I'm depressed, I'm sad, I'm screaming, I'm shouting. And I'm not doing that. And I feel that it's the chanting, and I feel that it's the meditation that I'm doing. And I just got told in my meditation that I have the tools to get me through this. I don't know, what are we going to call my dad's situation? An obstacle? I don't know. But like I'm teaching him how to say Namyo Renge Kyo, and he's like, Nunga K. And I'm like, oh no, Dad. But he's still embracing it. And he keeps, like, he takes the mic, but he knows that he's looked up the meanings, and I've sent him the links to listen to go to sleep with. So in a way, I feel like this Rosemary is kind of transitioning me, but not just me, my father as well.
Of course, because as you up level and become more self-aware and spiritually aware, that of course will have a ripple effect on your vibration, will ripple to your close loved ones. Yeah. So yeah, as he's going through this challenging time, he's finding natural holistic solutions to for his cancer treatment. But it's last week, the Melissa was to give you hope and light, and to also bring you back to you. That's what I said to you on the call. How are you feeling? Because you'd spread your energy out there, and it was about coming back to you and what you needed, and your emotional well-being. And it looks like you've done that beautifully, Hannah, and now you're ready to obviously transition with Rosemary. And it's amazing when I hear you guys talk about what urge you're drawn to. It sort of gives me an indication of where you're at in whether you're growing, whether you're like working through something darker, or needing to go down into the shadow, or creative energy coming through. It's beautiful. So yeah, I'm excited to see where that takes you, where Rosemary's going to transition you to, Hannah. Awesome. Thank you so much for your share, sweetheart, and loads of love to your dad as well.
Thank you.
So we've got Fontana and Lou. Fontana.
I'll go only because my laptop overheats and will turn itself off. Yeah, I've probably got about 4 minutes to turn itself off. It has an hour. So I'm going to share about deep blue.
Deep blue.
So I was in the bath this week with deep blue. And basically I've been shown to synthesize, I was sharing with you yesterday, how this word synthesize is coming in. Can you hear me?
Not very well.
Oh dear.
You might have to come right up and get your face right in there.
Oh Lord. Can you hear me now?
That's better.
Oh. So yeah, I've been guided to synthesize all of the pieces that I've gathered. So whether that's my tools that I've learned for healing, or the pieces of my past that I've learned from past life processes. And when I was in the bath with Deep Blue showed me that each of my past lives that I've currently discovered through processes, each of my siblings, my mum, my dad, and my brother were a representation of each of those past lives. Yeah. And so they were showing me who I've been, and that's why I chose this family specifically, because this is my life of unification. And with unification, I need to be able to embrace all the parts of who I've been and who my subconscious is still hiding from me, certain energies and tendencies and weaknesses that I haven't fully integrated yet. And so my family members were showing me the main things that I've judged about each of them, the main specific thing about the choice that they've made that is obviously destructive and toxic is what I also chose in those specific lifetimes that I had. And so the gift is to offer each of those parts of myself a re-embrace, because they all led to devastating outcomes, whether it was a literal devastating death or a implant or an entity attachment or etc. etc. And so it was a really powerful showing, thank God, from this view.
Wow.
And I just have so much more understanding and compassion for each of those, I'll call them human behaviors. A lot of those are really common traps that we get into as humans when we choose from fear, specifically things like addiction. And they're really, it's like I was shown the spiritual solution, the healing power with compassion. And now I can understand why, before I had this insight, I always was able to drop into what I was shown was, what I knew intuitively was the frequency of compassion in my heart. But I didn't know that I really need to drop into that for me as much as I will allow. And then send that outwards to each of my family members, because there was still a lot of cause, still a lot of attachment, judgment. Subconsciously, for my inner child, she didn't have obviously these understandings. And so, yeah, it was just a gift, you know, to have that awareness of the unity. Our families are reflecting parts of us is the message, and the parts that you judge the most about your family members specifically are the parts that we are there to reclaim with peace for ourselves.
Whew. Wow, well that was a transmission in itself, wasn't it? Not just a share. Wow, I'm going to take that on board. And that came from wow, and you actually really like spoke that, and I can see other people really listening as well, which is all part of your path to be a leader and a speaker and to share your wisdom. Share wisdom, not suffering. Thank you, beautiful. That was gorgeous. Very inspiring. And deep blue is an oil, a soothing blend that calms you, but it also going deep within yourself. Yeah, powerful. Thank you. Louise, lastly, beautiful Louise. Lastly, lovely Louise.
Hello, beautiful. Oh my gosh, I've loved all of these testimonials today. Thank you. They're really, really powerful. Mine's quite simple today, but I could talk about Clary Sage, but I'm not going to, because I spoke a little about it last week, but I thought, no, I wasn't called to today. But it's a really powerful oil. But I was really really called. I've been using citrus oils a lot this week, and the lemon and wild orange, very simple oils, but I've just been, I felt to just share a bit about those because they've really helped me, because I think I've gone through some really like deep healing recently, and shifted lots of stuff and integrated a lot, and it's been quite overwhelming, like but also really beautiful at the same time. So like cleansing, like I've felt quite clear this week, I guess, or these past few days, and lemon has been this beautiful bottle of sunshine, the one that I've been really felt to just keep going to keep this cleanse, this clear energy, and air as well. So I three oils that came to me were wild orange, lemon, and air. And air was an oil that I used to go to a lot when I felt like I was getting clogged up. And it's interesting because my head was quite heavy earlier. I was talking to you, wasn't I, Charlotte? From like feeling quite tired and like this. And from last night as well, we had this really powerful session last night, didn't we? And it's like my third eye was getting clogged. And air is a really powerful oil for me when I almost like, it's not a headache, it's a head, a cloggy head. And it's interesting. Can you hear me?
Was it like a head fog, do you mean? Foggy.
Head fog, yeah. So, and it's interesting, like you were saying earlier, about how the oils, are so different. So I had this foggy head and I went to lemon. I'd normally go to peppermint or an oil that will calm, but I went to citrus, air, to like support. And during our meditation earlier, it just really cleansed my mind. It was lovely. So yeah, it's a fresh feeling today, and testimonial of using the lemon, which cleansed, but also I felt it in my solar. Like right now I can feel this clear energy in my solar. It's lovely. That's come from like bringing the lemon into my body, and just yeah, it feels really, I just feel really cleansed. It's lovely. So yeah, lemon's lovely. I've just seen Hannah say that she's going to try it. It's just really lovely. Yeah,
your energy is so vibrant, Louise. So do you guys agree? Isn't Louise showing up so like vibrant but strong, like powerful? Yeah.
Thank you. I feel that's how I feel right now. I feel like cleansed, like not too heavy-headed, which is quite common for me, and clear. So thank you, lemon. Thank you, air. Thank you, girls. Today. Yeah.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, Louise, for your share. That's a lovely light note to finish on. Thank you to all of you. I feel like listening to you guys has made me inspired and also different. So let's roll on the following week. Let's have an incredible week. Yeah. And enjoy that oil that you chose this morning, or oils that you chose this morning for the meditation. Perhaps that's calling you for more deeper work together. Love you so much. Thanks for your share, and thanks to everyone who made it this far watching. I'm going to stop recording now. See you next week. I feel like we've got a TV show or something. Thank you, ladies. Love you. Bye.
Bye.